Welcome back to another episode of the Scott Gibson Show. I am Scott Gibson. Who else would I fucking be at this point? Are we all enjoying our fuel poverty status? Not I! I'm sure there are people out there currently struggling, you know? But has anybody changed their methods? Their methods of heating? We're doing laps in the kitchen now. And when we're cooking dinner, when we've got the gas hob on, we actually all gather round like cavemen against the fire and warm ourselves. It's not really about being, reduced to a crumbling heap of coldness. You know, it's about getting smarter with our energy. That's what it is. It's getting smarter with your energy. Why simply just cook your dinner on a gas hob when you could be drying your clothing or thawing out an elderly pensioner? Why not do that? Why don't? Maybe what the Tory government is, they're playing into the hands of the hipsters. They're looking at the new generation. I don't even know what they're called. Gen Z, was that me? Millennials, Gen X, and then the fucking new bunch of dicks, heartless husks, wimps, weak people. And they're saying, you know what they love? They love retro. They love, the hipsters love nothing more than a bit of retro. Authenticity. It's what they want. So let's give them an authentic experience. Let's drive up the costs of every fucking thing you need so we get to the point where, because this will help everything, because we're dealing with a fuel crisis, we're dealing with a housing crisis. Let's combine the two and let's get everybody back living into one room. I don't think we're probably that far away from the government building new homes, which is just a fucking box, and in the centre of that box is an old-fashioned bread oven. You get up in the morning, you cook the bread in the bread oven, and then the heat from the furnace warms your cockles for the day. Lots to talk about in this episode. It's going to be a ranty one. I can feel it. I can feel the fucking blood boiling in me already. I've also not had breakfast yet, which means I'm already on that level of anger, which is up here. All right? So I'm already thinking about what I'm going to go and get to eat after this to feed this furnace, and already I'm up here. Also, I will just say before we do kick off, I was thinking earlier on in the week, right? I sometimes try and think about things I'm going to talk about in the show. If there's anything that's kind of on my mind, I'll note it down so I don't forget it, because I'm forgetting stuff, man, now. I'm forgetting stuff. I've done it my whole life. I was going to say career. What career? When I used to think about stand-up ideas or ideas for comedy, I would think of something. I would, chuckle to myself. Isn't that hilarious? And then I would say, I'll remember it. I don't need to write it down or make a voice note in my phone, because I'll remember it. And what happens? I don't fucking remember it. I never. I must have forgotten endless amounts of award-winning material over the years. And then I try and trick myself by saying, if it was actually a really good bit, I would have remembered it. That's not how the brain works. You've got to... I'm also realising as I got older that you've got to... this is the thing. I can't even speak today, which is difficult when you're doing a podcast. You've got to feed the brain. It's a muscle. You've got to feed it. Good healthy food and pure work out your brain muscles. I'm not saying we all need to start doing Sudokus again or fucking Wordle. Wordle. But I need to start, every year I say to myself, I need to start reading. I'm forgetting words, man. Is this dementia? Hello, darkness, my old friend. Dementia, I was going to say I wish I had dementia. I don't. It's a horrific disease. It's a horrible, horrible thing. But the way the world is now, man, come on, If I could check in, like some kind of virtual reality experience, like a fancy rehab clinic somewhere, in America, because that's what these things are, and just check in. What can we do for you today, Miss Gibson? I'm going to say a month And I'm just looking to just live like a dementia patient for a month, just to forget everything in life and just be, just be a mess in the corner and be fed pudding. Oh, we'll go this way, Mr. Gibson. Would you like a review? It doesn't matter, hen. I'll be in my own world anyway. Just unplug for the Matrix for a month. Reset. Huh? Wouldn't that be lovely? Anyway, lots to talk about. Couple of questions from listeners as well. A few great suggestions from the Rascals and the Patreon. If you're not supporting the show yet on Patreon, Patreon, then do so. Best way to support the show, only way to access extra content. From now on, the podcast goes out once a week to you listeners, great listeners. But in your hearts, you are freeloading scumbags, and this is life. This is the choices we make. Some people support art and artists. They are good humans. They have joy in their heart, a spring in their step. They're exciting people, interesting people, people you want to spend time with, people you want to listen to, people who you want to communicate with, people who you actually value. And those people are Patreons, rascals. And then there's the other group of people who are scumbags. Freeloading, free listening, scumbags. There's still hope for you. There's hope for you because you listen. You listen to the podcast, maybe you watch the videos on YouTube, and in your heart you're a good person. And you might say things like, "Oh, big man, I've just not got £4. You have. So support the show. Patreon.com/Big Scott Gibson. Sign up. You get an extra episode every single week. An hour of stand-up went out last week. There's another part 2 of that stand-up show's coming out this Sunday as well. And you might be thinking, "Where's show, big man?" Oh, there's only one way to find it. Patreon.com/Big Scott Gibson. Comedy albums on there. There's almost 100 extra episodes of the podcast. The Sunday service is on there as well. And from now on, although the podcast does go out free on Spotify and Apple Podcasts every single week, the good people of Patreonis, they will get the full, unedited, extended version. Last week's episode has an extra, 27 minutes on it. It's half an hour, It's a ball here half an hour. So, support the show. You can sign up for as little as £4 a month, and you get all that extra content. It's worth it. 50p an episode, man. I'm cutting my own throat here. I don't know why I'm looking over there. It's not there. Anyway, today we need to talk about fuel poverty, national insurance rise, because I want to talk about that. I've got some great questions. And there's some good news articles as well. It's going to be a jam-packed bloody show, man. On this, which is podcast coming out late. It's coming out on Thursday. Good God, life has got in the way. It's just been one of the weeks. It's been one of the weeks. I was convinced it was Tuesday for about 3 days. I was so discombobulated. What a great word. I was so discombobulated. When do you ever use that in day-to-day speak in a sentence? Discombobulated? Never. And I've just dropped it 3 times. It's like long division. You do long division in school, you never once use it in real life. Same with the word discombobulated. Anyway, I was so fucking messed up in the mind, no knowing the days. I tried to take the bins out last night. I was halfway doing the drive, right? Now you're maybe going like, the big man's got a drive. I'm set back on the road. It's an incline, So taking a bin doing the incline, it's a shift. You've got to. There's a special manoeuvre into it. You position the bin against your back. It's a physics thing, right? But I was halfway doing the slope, and I realised it's Wednesday. The bins don't go on Wednesday. So I had to take the bin back up. There's nothing. I was going to say there's nothing more embarrassing. There's many things embarrassing, but as a man, and I can only speak as a man. I've never lived as a woman. Although during lockdown, the first one, I was financially taken care of. So, make of that what you will. But to take your bins out, And then to get to the end of your area, onto your curbside, onto the pavement, onto the road, to then be met with the embarrassment of an empty street. Oh, God. Shut to the heart. It's soul destroying. Because I'm not a confident enough person to just leave my bin there. There are some people who will just take their fucking bins out on any day they want. Mental. Where you going? Take the bins out. It's Tuesday, you mad bastard. Don't go to fucking Wednesday. I'll take my bin out when I want to take my fucking bin out. And they will allow their bin to sit there for days. There's also people, the reverse of that, who, once the bin has been emptied, will also just leave it in the street. Who the fuck are these cunts? They will leave the bin on the street until they have something to put in that bin. Now, you might be thinking, listen, big man, in a world where fuel poverty and fuel economy is on the tip of everybody's finger tongues, I suppose that extra journey of retrieving the empty bin and bringing it back, that's burning fuel. So do you wait until you've got to put a bin bag in the bin, take it to the bin, bring the bin back? It's easy for you to say. Maybe I have got dementia. Bring the bin back. Bring the bin back. Maybe that's the right way to do it. Maybe we just leave our bins in the street. Maybe we just leave our bins in the street permanently. Maybe the street is a bin. Maybe we just dump all our rubbish on the street. That's the only thing I miss about Edinburgh. It's genuinely the only thing I miss about Edinburgh. That and Deliveroo is the communal bins. The big fucking massive communal bins. Didn't matter what day of the week it was, you just came downstairs and you just fucked it all into a big massive communal bin. And then somebody would come and collect it. And the bin was empty. It was great. Now, I've got 5 bins. I've never had so many bins in my life. 5 bins. I've got more bins than I've had relationships. 5 bins. 2 of them are blue. I was going to say something sectarian there, but I'm not going to. But I've got 2 blue bins. What was I talking about? I've got dementia. So I took a bin out. But like I said, that is a level of confidence that I don't think I'll ever have. I wouldn't say I'm an unconfident person, but I'm certainly, my anxiety curbs that. It curbs my confidence moving into arrogance, I suppose. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we should off a wee bout of anxiety. Maybe people who are arrogant, full of themselves, up their own arses, maybe they could do a wee 5 milligram anxiety. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need like a panic attack gun. We need somebody for the council. I mean, no, the council, they fucking cunts could run in. But we need somebody in society, right? The anxiety person. Like the old days when you get the dogger man, right? When he'd fucking roll up to school, think these dogs the bounty hunter. I mean, when I was at school, how do you go from talking about wheelie bins to fucking dogger men? I don't know. Dogger men? Dogger men's something completely different. A dogger man. Now, there might be some English people listening to this, right? And there's obviously people from further afield. I know we've got some listeners in Australia. Good eye. I don't know what you call it where you're from. But when I was a young warthog, if you played truant from school, you called it dogging, right? Now this is obviously before we knew what dogging was. If somebody would say to you when you were young, right, 12, 13, through to, school leaving age, 16, 17, right? Are you dogging tomorrow? That would mean you're not going to school. It wouldn't mean you're driving to a secluded car park and rubbing your testicles against a Cavalier's window. It meant your dog in school. You're playing truant. You're not going to school. Playing truant. Right? Now, you would leave in the morning. You know? Goodbye, mother. Goodbye, mama. Right? And you'd head off. Have a wonderful day at school, son. I mean, I don't imagine that was your upbringing either. I imagine it was like most of us. Either you were told to get out, or you were kicked from your mother's car at high speed because she's rushing off to work. And you can't be asked walking. So you get popped out. Or maybe your mum had to move because you couldn't afford a house near the school, right? And then you get dropped off in the morning. But a bus doesn't run at your new house. There's no school bus that comes there. But even if there's a school bus, you're not going to go on a school bus because you're 14, and you're not special needs. So you don't want to go on the school bus, so you want to walk. But it's a rough part of town. And so your mum drops you off, but she's not got time to, she's not got time to physically stop, And kids were tough in the 90s, so you just open the door, and you'd be kicked out. Your mum would assume the role of a Formula 1 driver, carrying out a pit stop, right? You'd be driving up to school, and you'd be thinking, fucking hell, man, double mass. And then you would just hear your mother from the driver's seat go, box, box, box. And you knew that was your time to undo the seatbelt and hold the bag like you're a paratrooper. And then the door opened and go, 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 and you're out. And then she's off to work, right? And that was life. And sometimes you would play along, and you would say, drop me off here, mum. I can see, a fictional friend, and she'd be like, box, 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 and she'd zoom in, hazards on, doors open, out you get. And then you would go and dog. You just kick a boot. If you were lucky enough, and you had a friend who knew that there was no way anyone was going to return, you would go home, or you would go to his house or her house and hang out. Just dog school. One of the best days of my life, dog in school, came home knowing that my mother would not return until late in the evening. She'd be none the wiser that I had dog school. And the dogger man came to the front door. Now, the dogger man was I think his official title was truancy officer. Hello. Truancy officer, right? And he would basically go into the school in the morning, like fucking Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he'd be given a list of doggers or doggies, right? Whatever you want to call them. Can't sit on at school, who should be at school, right? And then the dogger man would go round to their house like a fucking grass, like a snake, right? A fucking snaky grass. And he'd put a letter through your door. So your parents knew you were dogging. So, we got wise to this, right? And I'm at home, I'm dogging school. The door goes, opens the door, it's the fucking dogger man. I was like, oh, in the name of it, it's the dogger man. I am face to face with the dogger man. This is like meeting Jack the Ripper. I mean, the chances of you as a dogger meeting the dogger man, they were slim to none. You heard of this guy. You heard about the dogger man, the truancy officer. You never ever thought you'd be face to face with him. A man who has destroyed endless lives over the years for a simple task of missing school for a day. And here I am, face to face with a cunt. And he's a wee guy, remember that? He's smaller than me. And I was, 14 at the time? 15? And he was smaller than me. I was like, you little snake. And he opened the door. Well, I opened the door because it was my house. I mean, it'd be weird if I was outside and he was in my house. I'm like, what are you doing in my house, dogger man? He'd be like, I knew you were coming back here, you cunt. I opened the door and I says, hello. Now, it was in my gym jams at the time, which I think was a pair of boxer shorts and a t-shirt. And I says to him, hello. And he says, are your parents home? And I went, what? Now, I went, what? As in, two things. First of all, I don't live in a council estate, so why he would assume my parents were at home during the day? I mean, they're out working, how dare you? Second of all, I was just shocked that I was face to face with a dogger man. I mean, I didn't want to go, finally we meet Doggerman. You shall not pass. So I says, what? And he went, oh, sorry. And then he said to me, your brother is missing from school today. Can you give your parents this letter for me? It's from the school. And I said, my brother? Now, I have a brother, David, right? And I thought, David's missing from school. Obviously not saying anything to the Doggerman. Tell the Doggerman nothing, right? Fucking poker face. I went, right. And he gave me the letter. And he says, yeah, so Scott's not been in. I went, oh, he doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know who I am. All he's got is a name. You know, all he's got is a name. Now, I imagine now, if there even is a Doggerman, it's all on an app. You know? Like fucking some kind of Mission Impossible thing, right? Some kind of Matrix style. Some AI. The Doggerman goes in, plugs his finger, snaps the tap of his thumb. It's a USB stick, plugs into the Matrix, and he's downloaded everything like a fucking Doggerman cyborg. And then he can go out scanning Wayne's. Is he a fucking pedo? No, that's a Doggerman. That's a Doggerman, man. Scanning faces, looking for children to identify. But this is the 90s. He didn't have that information. All he had was a name and an address. A name and an address. That's it. And he thinks he's going looking for a 14-year-old boy. And he doesn't know that I am that 14-year-old boy. You know? Because he's looking at me going, cunt's got sideburns, he's fucking nearly 6 feet tall, what a pair of shoulders on him. There's no way he's 14. That's what he's thinking. He's thinking he's the elder brother. That's what he's thinking. He doesn't know that it's actually me, face to face, with the fucking Wayne he's trying to catch. This is like some fucking Sign of the Zodiac stuff, man. Know what I mean? Face to face with a killer. This is as intense as that scene in Heat. You know, when De Niro and Pacino finally meet each other. That is how intense that was. Face to face with the Doggerman. And he gave me that letter and he says, if you can give that to your parents, that would be great. They just have to sign it and get Scott to bring it back into school. And it was basically along the lines of to say that the school was making them aware that you weren't present on that day, and they're now made aware of that. And, then I think the hope at that time was that schools were starting to change, starting to transition, because they can't hit Waynes anymore, and the fucking Scottish government put into that. But they were transitioning away from, not reprimanding, but moving away from the school themselves being the one who kind of dished out the punishment and effectively grassing you into your parents, right? By giving you this letter to go, listen, that wee fat bastard was dogging it today, so do with this information as you will, and your mum would batter you, right? So you sign a letter and they bring it back in. Face to face with the Doggerman. Play it cool, son. The tension, man, when he handed him that letter. I was like, never have anything in your life you're not willing to walk away from in 60 seconds. Do you understand me, Doggerman? Oh, man. I forgot all about that as well. And I can remember already, like, being in the house, obviously my house, my mum's house, right? But being in the house that morning thinking, this is the greatest dogging experience, because I just decided I was having the day off, right? As I do sometimes now, but I just decided I'm having the day off. Didn't tell any of my pals. I didn't date. I just came home knowing that my mum wasn't going to be in till well after tea time. So there was no way I was going to get caught. No way at all. And then the Doggerman appears, and I managed to navigate that by just having really, old jeans. Not old Levi's, just an old looking boy. Shut the door and I was like, I am the ultimate Doggerman. But then the problem comes when you have to get that letter signed and returned. Now here's the thing, right? All throughout my school life, and I don't know how this never ever came up, all throughout my time in high school, and possibly I think it maybe started in primary school. This is where the seeds of it grew from. My mum and dad are obviously divorced, right? Divorced when I was young. I was like 5, I think. And my grandpa was a big part of my life. He was like my father figure, if you like, right? So he'd be coming to like sports days and things like that. And certainly in primary school and towards part of my time in high school, the teachers knew him, and when I was in high school, my headmaster knew him, simply because my grandpa would take me to my rugby, and he was heavily involved in that. And then the school started a rugby team, so my grandpa became involved in the rugby team and all this kind of stuff, right? And if there was ever any like school trips, you needed parents to go along, he would come along with that. So teachers knew of him and that kind of thing, right? And I could forge my grandfather's signature, and I mean, I could have. If someone had given me guidance, there's been a few times in my life where if a strong male figure had came in and guided me, I could have had a very different life. I could have been a professional forger, if that's a thing. I had his signature down so well that later on in life, when you're an adult and you confess these things, like, I've been signing your signature for fucking 15 years, and you laugh about it, and then when I showed him, I remember I was in his kitchen, and I showed him his signature, and I think he was actually quite frightened, because this is still when, like, checkbooks and stuff like that, I think, I could have done the one for thousands, but I had his signature. I mean, it was perfect. It was as if he had signed it himself. It was perfect in every single way. So I used to sign every punishment exercise, every punny, every letter, the Dogger Man, anything that I got from school that I didn't need my mother to know about. Obviously, there's things like, if there's school trips or something, or something that you had to get, your mum had to know about, fine, she signs it. Everything, and I mean everything else, was signed by my grandfather, by me, right? And I would tell the story that because mum and dad are divorced, that sometimes we stay, my brother and I, get him involved in the lie. Sometimes we stay at my grandparents if my mum's working late or whatever, or my grandpa brings us to school. So sometimes he signs it, sometimes my mum signs it. It's just difficult. And if you keep the lie small enough that is believable, they accept it. And also, as you get older, you realise, and here's the truth of it, the vast majority of teachers, I would say 99.9%, there's probably 0.1% of teachers that differ from this. But 99.9% of teachers do not give a fuck. And that's it. They do not care. When you're young and you're in school, you think that your teacher cares about you as a person, as an individual. They couldn't give a flying fuck about you. They couldn't care. When they're doing the registration, they hope none of you turn up. They couldn't give a fuck about you. But you think that I'm going to get caught, they're going to grass on me, my teacher. They don't care. They don't care about you. So when you get in the store like that, fine. Look at the signature, looks good. And you move on with life. That letter for the Dogger Man. Got my grandpa's finest signature. I was like, there you go. That's actually how I started doing a signature as well. I remember when I had to get a bank account, and they asked me to sign it, and I just wrote my name, like most young people do, Scott. Just wrote it like that. And then I think the woman in the bank says, do you not have a signature? And I remember feeling like I feel attacked, as if like, that is a signature. She went, no, you've just written your name, you moron. And that's when I looked at my grandpa's signature and my dad's signature, and both of them are slightly similar, completely different in what they write, but very similar in style. And that's how I started to write what is my signature now. Do you mean and kind of learn for that? But my grandpa's signature's a fucking belter, man. It's basically just like it just looks like a scribble. It's not legible in any way, but it's beautiful, and it's a great It's a great fucking signature. Anyway, how do we go from talking about wheelie bins to Doggermen? I don't know. But if you are the type of person who has the confidence to leave a bin out on the wrong day, or leave a recently emptied bin on the street for a further 24 hours, you're a far more confident person than I. And I would argue that you're possibly the king of your street. If you are the person who can leave an empty bin for a further day on the curbside, you run that street. Is my opinion. There you go. One odd opening 30 minutes of the show. But hey, it is what it is. Right, let's get into this. I need to talk about the whole fuel poverty thing, the fuel crisis thing, everything that's happening. I also am of the opinion, which will be against the public thinking, and probably against yourself, I am now of the opinion that we have to offer a sacrifice to the gods in order to change what's happening right now in the Matrix. Because whatever left turn or right turn we have gone down to get to this point, I think we can all agree this is the shittest form of the game of life that any of us have experienced, right? We need to change it. We offer a sacrifice, and that sacrifice needs to be Martin Lewis. Now, I know a lot of you are going, Gibbo, that man is a money-saving expert. He is full of fucking shit. I know that everybody's sharing all their posts. I've signed up to his newsletter for 47 years, and he has saved me a total of £16 over that time. It's fucking nonsense. He's on every show. He's on every fucking newspaper. Listen, what I've got to say is, and the truth is going to hurt, but we're actually fucked, alright? We're fucked. This is a guy who, people forget, recently, 2 years ago, no, even that, was saying the way for you to make yourself debt-free is to take your credit cards, put it in a Tupperware of water, and then put that into the freezer and freeze your credit card. So that there's no way for you to get to it to put more money on it. If that is fucking money-saving expert advice, then fuck me in the bum, because that is nonsense. But suddenly now he's back on everywhere. The guy's a genius. He knows fuck all. Now here's my problem with the whole fuel poverty thing, right? And I spoke about this kind of recently, and it's almost the exact same thing with the whole fucking Greg Sausage Roll debacle, right? This is companies making tens of millions, hundreds of millions of pounds worth of profit. And that profit is not passed to us. That profit is absorbed by them, and then they want more. And that involves us paying more, right? Look at the price of diesel. It's still over 170. Some places doing it 169. Fine. It's still higher than it was before the war. We paid, and I know that I joke and I laugh and I'm kind of kidding on, but I'm also kind of fucking serious. We paid £400 million to get that fucking captured MI5 agent back home to her husband, and the apparent agreement that the Iranians are going to start giving us oil to drop down the cost of diesel. Fucking wee shitey Sunak then drops 5 pence on the tax of fuel. Do we see that 5 pence? No, we don't. That is absorbed by us, and we continue paying the price. So nothing changes. Nothing changes at all. Like I said before in the podcast, I got a smart meter which drove me insane. I'm looking at my smart meter the other day. I'm talking about between 7 and 11 pence per kilowatt hour. It's now into the 60s. It's now at 63, 67 pence. And you might be saying to yourself, 63, 67 pence per kilowatt hour, that isn't much. What's a kilowatt hour? I have no idea. I don't bloody know. No idea. I don't know what a kilowatt hour is. Is it an hour? I don't know. What's a kilowatt? I have no idea. But I know that we need fucking 40 gigawatts, and we need to get this house up to 88 mile an hour, and then we can fucking go back to the future. I have no idea. But all I know is that wee fucking meter in the corner used to say 11 pence, and now it says 67 pence, and its arrow is fucking in the amber, and that is a bad sign. Now, here's my concern, right? We live in Scotland. That may come as a shock to you. I live in Scotland. Okay? There is not a window in this fucking country. You cannot look out of any window in Scotland and not see a fucking wind farm. The country is one giant wind farm. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be in Elgin, Peterhead, Aberdeen. They're all up north, Gibbo. You could be in Dumfries, Oban. You could be in a fucking island in the arsehole of nowhere. You could be in that weird fucking island in Arran where all the monks live, you know, to speak. You could be on fucking there. You could be in rural Persia. If you look out any fucking window in this country, you'll see a bastard wind farm. How the fuck are we still in fuel poverty? We've got wind. We've got solar. We have got wave. Fucking wave. And let's not forget, we've got fucking oil. We've got oil. We have fucking oil. How in the name of Christ is this fuel poverty crisis happening? How currently in 2021 or 2022? It's 2022, come on. 2022. That's how much this is frying my brain. I'm living in the past. Explain to me how in 2022 with all the fucking wind farms, with the wave, with the solar, with fucking oil in Scotland, we still have a fuel poverty crisis. We should be in a position not only where fuel, i.e. gas, diesel, electricity, anything you need to power your home to live your life, not only should that be a reasonable cost, there's probably arguments that it should be fucking free. There's probably arguments that it should be free to fucking heat your home because we produce enough of the fucking stuff. Now, alright, we've still got a bit to go, but I was looking at some numbers this morning. I'm even looking at bloody numbers. 25%. That's a quarter, right? Now, I still think these numbers are downplayed. 25% of UK energy is produced by wind. 25%. Now, this is where it gets interesting as well. And this is when, and I'm not going to bang the drum here about independence, but I do think it's time for fucking Scotland to go, goodbye England, build a wall, and watch them all freeze. There is enough energy produced in Scotland through wind, only wind, to power 1.6 million homes. Now, we are a population of, 6 million people? I don't know how many homes there are in Scotland. There's probably less than 6 million, because not everybody's got a house. Wind alone produces enough energy to power 1.6 million homes. In Scotland, we only import 22% of our energy. So where is this gap coming from? Where is this fucking sudden dramatic increase in costs coming from? Now you can argue it's global politics, it's Ukraine, it's Russia, and if that's the case, then toughen the fuck up and let's go and kill somebody. Let's go and fucking kill somebody. Something's got to change, man, because everything kind of keep going up. Production levels kind of keep rising. With regards to energy, we are fucking building wind farms left, right and centre. Again, if you live in this country, not only can you not look out a window and see a wind farm, you cannot drive down a motorway in Scotland without seeing a wind turbine going the other fucking way. Where's it going? To a hilltop somewhere. Fine, get the fucking thing up and get it moving. 22%, that's it. We are not in a situation where, and this is what when I look at the media, it almost wants you to believe that we produce nothing. Like we have to get all of our energy from somewhere else. 22% is all that we import in Scotland. 22%, that's nothing. There is a wind farm just now. Where is it? Biggest wind farm in Scotland. Seagreen, right? This is what I was talking about. So, what is the biggest wind farm in Scotland? Seagreen is Scotland's largest renewable energy project and one of the biggest private investments in Scottish infrastructure. Private investment, which means the cunts want paid. But that's fine, right? That's fine. They want paid. I get it. If somebody's done a private investment, they want to get paid and they want to make tens of billions of squid at least. I get it. But guess what? See when they built the Erskine Bridge and we all paid a wee 20 pence to get over the Erskine Bridge, and you just thought, well, that's what it is. I've got to pay 20 pence to get over the Erskine Bridge. What else am I going to do? Drive through Glasgow and come up through Dumbarton? Don't be fucking ridiculous. My car will be on bricks if I need to get through Dumbarton. So we paid our 20 pence, and then some fucker went, hold on a minute here. I've been paying 20 pence to go over the Erskine Bridge for fucking years. And somebody done the maths went, we've paid for that cunt twice. And do you know what they did? They fucking shot the guy who built the... They never shot the guy, but they get rid of the fucking toll booths. So fine, build your wind farms, build your oil refineries, whatever it is, and see when you get the money back that you cost to build the fucking thing, we're going to come in and shoot you. We need to start killing more people need to be killed. And I don't mean in a COVID sense, right, or a Ukrainian-Russian war. I mean in a fucking society, Scottish sense. Build a wind farm and then fucking bolt gun somebody. Obviously, I don't condone violence of any way. Sea Green. The wind farm will be capable of generating around 5,000 gigawatt hours of renewable energy annually, which is enough clean and sustainable electricity. Also, can I just say here, put a pin in this, let me just stop. We're done, right? This whole organic, vegan, clean, renewable, it's finished. You had your chance, you fucking blew it, right? You had your chance and you blew it. Those of you out there who are in the activist groups who are giving, oh, we can't be spraying this stuff in the fields. We have to allow nature to grow, and animals should be allowed freedom to roam, and renewable energies, and everything should be green, and electric cars. Fuck off. It's done. It is done. You had your chance. There was a small window of opportunity in the mid-noughties, right, where you had a chance there when life was good. Okay, we came out of housing crisis, people had money in their pockets again, we were travelling, we were forgetting about stuff. That was your window of change, and you fucking blew it because you were super gluing yourself to fucking motorways, and you're out taking over bridges in London and having fucking kumbaya fucking orgy parties. You blew it, right? It's game over now. We're back to the old days. Stuff's expensive. People can't afford to do things. People can't afford to fucking feed their families, to heat their homes, to travel, to go on holiday, to buy things they need, to buy things they want, to buy things they don't want. The vast majority of people go out every day to work, to a job that they fucking can't stand. And don't we do the day at night? Do you think they sit and they go, should we put this in an ISA for 5 years and generate enough percentage income to try and pay the mortgage off 3 years early? No, they go on fucking Amazon and they buy shit for fucking China to make themselves feel better, because that's the way the world is. Because this thing called social media came along and it damaged all our fucking minds. So now we have to feed that void by buying stuff we don't want, for people we don't like, to post on our fucking social media, for friends we don't have, to continue the circle of hell continuing on. So you coming along there going, sustainable and green, and we shouldn't be fracking, and we shouldn't be getting the oil, and you shouldn't be buying this kind of meat. Fuck off, you're done. You had a chance, and you blew it. Your message was fucked. You should have been appealing to people's better sides. You should have been looking at ways to reduce the costs of a healthier, cleaner, more sustainable lifestyle. Because the truth of the matter was, the main push for all that kind of that way of living is not for the normal working class person. It's for the rich. It's for those who can afford it. So you had your chance and you blew it. So now we're going back. And we're going back to the old days of the empire. We're going back. We're going to open the fucking coal mines. We're going to start the fucking fracking. And we're getting the oil back out the North Sea. And we're going to live like kings. Build the wind farms. I get it. It's the windiest fucking place on the planet. Build wind farms. Fine. If we've only got to get 22% of energy, if that is all that we import, that's all we need. We don't need more than we need. We need 22%, and we've got to find it somewhere. And we can find it from wind. We can find it from solar. We can find it from wave. We can find it from hydrogen. We can find it from these places, from nuclear. We can find it for these places. But this push, this narrative, this conversation about it has to be green or it has to help the environment, fucking get it. That's over. We're drilling in the North Sea. We're fracking the fuck out of the Highlands. Get me gas, get me oil, and get my fucking prices down. Because that's what has to happen. Vote for Gibbo. I'm telling you, man, see if I got a squad of like 16 fucking hard cunts and went down to Hollywood, studging about their arse, man. So, Sea Green apparently produces. This is. I'm jumping between two articles here. Wind power contributes 25% of UK electricity supplied in 2020, having surpassed coal in 2016 and nuclear in 2018. It's the largest source of renewable electricity in the UK. And this is what we have to be pushing for, man. We only need that 22%. And here's the thing that kind of shocked me, right? Because being Scottish and in Scotland and having to kind of endure some fucking Scottish news, right? Which is the worst news on the planet. I did think that we were like world leaders on renewable energy, right? And it'll come as no shock to you. Which country is the largest producer of wind energy? What do you think it is? I'll give you a second to answer. You can shout your answers out at the radio. 3, 2, 1, go. What country is the largest producer of wind energy? No, I thought it was us. I thought it was the Scots. I thought we were top of the league, mate. Number 1. Champions League places. Number 1 for heart attacks. Number 1 for suicides. Number 1 for stabbings. Number 1 for drug abuse. And number 1 for fucking wind farm production. I thought that was us. That was our 5 claims to fame. Heart disease. Fucking stabbings. Teenage pregnancies. Drug abuse. Wind farms. We're up there. It's China. It's China. China is the largest producer of wind energy on the fucking planet. And I can only guess it's because they don't fuck about. They don't fuck about. We need to go back to living in a world where we don't fuck about. China wants a wind farm. China builds a wind farm. China doesn't say, let's have a discussion in a government think tank and ask people in these rural Chinese communities, how do they feel about wind farms? What we've done is we have gathered a group of 20 Sichuan farmers from the Hongyan province of China, where we are going to position one of the wind farms, and we've brought them in here today for a Communist Party think tank. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you some pictures of wind farms, and we would like to know, how does this make you feel as a member of the Communist Party of China? How do these wind farms make you feel? Yes, okay. Now, if they were to be positioned in your garden, say, or on the horizon, how would that make you feel? Do you think that's what's happening? Do you think the Chinese government is going around to these people and saying, there's going to be a meeting held in the town hall where you can voice your opinion on whether or not you'd like the wind farm to be built or not? Do you think that's happening? Or do you think China's going around saying, Gaffer, we can't put the wind farm there because there's 4 houses. What houses? See they 4 houses, Gaffer? That's where the turbine's going to go. What houses? Gaffer, the 4 houses. I can't see anything. Oh, I get you. Comes back the next day, the houses are gone. Some wee guy for the councillor, what happened to the houses? What houses, mate? No, I'm not saying that we start going round and we start murdering, farmers. I'm just saying, we need to get building. We need to cut out all the red tape and we need to get building. We need to look at the things now that are driving costs, that is driving up the cost of living. And it is fuel, oil and gas, and it is now the rise in national health insurance. Or national insurance payments. We need to increase production in the wind farms. We need to look at oil. We need to look at drilling again in the North Sea. And I know people will start to complain about that, but it's every year, if anybody, I've got friends who work in oil and gas, and I've got friends who work offshore. As technology increases, they can get more oil at the ground in easier ways and quicker ways. We need to start looking at that again, and we need to start bringing the costs down. Then we look at national insurance payments. National insurance payments started going up the other day. And you might be thinking to yourself, it doesn't affect me. You look at the numbers and it's like, what, a couple of £100, maybe £1,000 over the year, and you think, fuck it, that's a lot, right? It doesn't matter. And I'm also the opinion, I don't care if it's £1,000 or a pound. I don't want to give the government fuck all. I don't want to give them anything. I don't want to give them a fucking penny. More than I have to. So I'm not going to sit back and go, well, you know what? The national insurance is going up because it's going to the NHS, because this is the narrative. This is the narrative that's been pushed by all the media and been pushed by the government. Your national insurance has gone up because it's helping to further fund the NHS. Now, that'll be pushed for a year or two, and the cost of living will fucking rise. And it'll be the point where the average person is now very, very worse off. The average person is now struggling. And then what happens? Bang. Privatise the NHS. This is the next move. This is the next move. They hoped, I imagine, that COVID would have fucked them and they could have privatised the NHS after that. But it didn't. Somehow they came through it. And now they're pushing this narrative. You are having to pay more money, more of your hard-earned money. You already paid more tax than fucking half the countries, if not all the countries in the fucking planet. And now we're taking more off you for the NHS. That thing you say you love so much, well, we want the money to fucking fund it. And it'll go, and it'll go, and it'll not get any better, it'll get worse, and it'll get worse, and eventually it'll break, and then it'll be privatised, it'll be sold off, you will be given money back, but you'll need to get private healthcare, and then you'll go for there. And let's just have an open conversation about it. Would it really be that bad? Would it be that bad? You're in a position now where, if anybody who's ever gone to a hospital recently, most of them are fucked. But I tell you right now, how you save money in the NHS. And again, it's fucking very simple logic. And when you say these things to people, they go, oh, that's a lot of nonsense. Is it though? Is it nonsense? Like everything else in life, we go back to the old school. Anybody in the NHS, see if I'm hired tomorrow. If I am hired tomorrow as health secretary, this is what I do. I spend 6 months visiting every hospital in the UK. Alright? I go in there, I meet them, I talk to them, I see what the issues are, see what the problems are, I invite them to a think tank, because we love think tanks in the government. And then I do this. Everybody who is not a nurse, a doctor, a surgeon, hands-on person, if your job is not involved in dealing with patients or treating patients, you're gone. Not only are you gone, that job does not exist anymore. It doesn't exist. You're gone. You are nothing no more. If you removed all the business people from the NHS, I imagine you would save fucking billions of pounds a year. Because these are the fuckers that are getting paid obscene salaries to do fuck all. Push paper. Have conversations. Be involved in government level decisions. Get to fuck. You're a hospital, you cunt. Treat people or fuck off. So you're gone. I'd have somebody in charge of the hospital. I'd pay them a fucking obscene salary, and I'd work the cunt into an early grave. I'd make sure they were fucking doing 12-hour shifts 7 days a week, because the fuckers getting paid good money, and I'd work the bastards out of the ground. Doctors and nurses, you get a wage rise. I can give you the wage rise because I have saved billions for getting rid of all these pencil pushers. Now, that comes with a fucking caveat, because see, if you're a shit nurse, or you're a shit doctor, or you're a shit surgeon, or you don't know how to do your fucking job, you're out, you cunt. You're gone. None of this because you're a nurse, because you're a doctor, because you work in the NHS, you're untouchable. No. See, if I come up to a fucking waiting room and I go to see an elderly patient and you are putting hot teaspoons out in the back of somebody's leg, or you're fucking smothering pensioners, right? Well, maybe I give you a rise because you're doing God's work. But if you're just standing around bitching and moaning, doing fuck all, you're out your arse, cunt. It's a job at the end of the day. Next move, I'm bringing back matrons. Old school, terrifying, big women to run a fucking ward. Anything the ward needs, they order it. Anything the ward needs done, they do it. They oversee the ward. They are the fucking Gestapo of the NHS. Everything that happens in that ward goes through this woman. And listen, you can bring fucking feminism and sexist and equal equality. No, these roles are filled by women, right? You don't get a matron that's a man. It doesn't happen. It's a woman. And it's a very particular type of woman. She's older. She's bigger. She's a fucking tank. She can lift a dead body herself. She is an angry, aggressive fucking housewife. She will have that ward spick and span, clean, efficient, sorted. Anybody who can remember being in hospital when there was a matron will remember how well and how good hospital was. Good to a certain extent. Hospital's never good because you're in hospital, but it felt as if it ran more efficient and it ran well. How many times have you been in a ward now, A&E, and there's some fucking junkie screaming in the corner, some scumbag husband and wife team having a fucking full-blown barley? That wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have happened in the days of a matron. It would not have happened. You'd have been told to shut the fuck up, or she would have just sedated you. There wouldn't have been an informal investigation. You gave this man 15 milligrams of triazepine. I don't give a fuck. He was talking loudly in my ward, so I sedated the cunt. He actually had a heart attack and died. Good. Get rid of the pencil pushers. Increase in salary for nurses and doctors. Bring back matrons to run the ward. Give them full autonomy over everything. Ordering for the ward. Hiring, firing, everything. They're never questioned. They are Judge Dredd of the ward. If you did those things, instantly, the NHS changes overnight and saves millions. Am I wrong? Not at all. Then we come down a level. Now we've done that, right? That's my first week. I've done that. Then we come down a level. And we come down a level to GPs. Okay? The first thing we do is every single GP receptionist is executed. They're not fired. They're not removed from their job. They are executed. They are brought into the car park of the GP surgery. They're put on their knees with a hood. The hood is removed, and then a member of Her Majesty's Armed Guards says, "This is for your crimes against humanity." And we gun them all down. Every one of them's gone. They are the worst people that have ever walked the face of this earth. They're gone. They are replaced with happy-go-lucky, cheerful people. You know, good morning, welcome to the GP surgery. They fucking sing when they answer the phone. Good morning, what are your ailments? They talk to you, right? You go to your GP surgery, you get a fucking book of tokens. A book of tokens. Like the old days, right? And in that book of tokens is 50 tokens. 50 tokens. Okay? 50 tokens. And each token is one visit to GP surgery, right? 50 tokens. Now, throughout the course of your life, let's just say a year, how many times a year do you go to see a GP? Probably none. Maybe once, twice, right? Have I been to see my GP this year? No. Okay? Maybe once or twice you have to go if you're unwell, fine. So you get 50 there. That's one a week. Do you know who goes once a week? Pensioners. Some pensioners will go twice a week. Now, some of them will go because they're ill. A lot of them will go because they want something to do. So here's how it works. I go into my GP, I give my token, and I see my GP, and I tell them what's wrong. And my GP will assess me, and they'll tell me how to fix it, and I'll go to the chemist, and I'll get tablets, and if you live in Scotland, you get them for free, and if you're in England, you have to pay, and you should fucking kill your government, but you move on with life, right? Now, if I go to the GP, and the GP assesses me, and the GP says, listen, there's fucking no reason for you to be here, you're wasting my time, and you're wasting your time. Do you know what happens? 10 tokens are taken from you. 10 tokens. 10 tokens get taken off you. Now you're down to 39 tokens for one visit. Because you've been a fucking lying, manipulative, greeting, all-faced pensioner and fuck all's wrong with you. So you come back again next week because you want something to do. Hey, it's Tuesday. I'll go to the GP, and you go in, you give them the token, they sit down, and the GP says to you, listen, you've got your token here. There's a 20-minute window. How can I help? And you go, well, what it is, it's the bunions in the feet. Mrs. McGregor, you've already been referred to that. Here is your appointment card. There's no reason for you to be here. 10 tokens. And very soon, what you will find is that pensioners are the forgotten people because they get no tokens left. And suddenly a GP's ward, a surgery, is opened up. It's quiet again because you've not got people in there who are full of shit who just go to the doctor for fucking no reason. To go in and try and get a sick note. Or painkillers, or tablets because they don't want to fucking pay for them. So they go and try and get in the NHS. Take the tokens off them and watch them go bye-bye. Simple things. Simple things, and already, by doing this, I have now warmed your home for pennies. You've made your dinner for pennies. And you are saving money in your taxes because I've reduced the bill of the NHS. I mean, my God. I'm some guy. I am some man. And what a ranty podcast this has been. I mean, we're over an hour already. And we've still not even got into the good stuff yet. Here's the problem, right? Is that I've got my news articles, man. I'm ready to go. I have got millionaire at war with council. You know? Guy buys land around him to build man cave. Stop his man cave had been torn down. We have got Manny Martin Lewis about his energy bill crisis. We got problems with Walker's crisps. They've been forced to change the recipe because of the war in the UK. The war in Ukraine. We've got Putin's daughters. God, Putin, they're going after his daughters, man. We've got Putin's daughters getting sanctioned by the Americans. Don't go after a man's daughters, for Christ's sake. We've got the guy driving a car into the Russian embassy. I've got all that to talk about. I've got questions for Biggie and Bud. A fucking amazing question about Mr. Kipling on Instagram. I've got questions for Kenny Bridges on the what is it called? on the Patreon. And I've got questions for Ben the Doonhammer on Patreon as well. But we're over the hour. What we got to do? I mean, we can't talk forever. We've effectively done a podcast within a podcast. I've got a whole podcast worth of chat here. So we're just gonna have to save it, kids. We're gonna have to save it. We're gonna have to put a pin in it and save it. We're gonna have to save that all for a Patreon episode or for next week's episode. So there you go. Kenny Boy, Ben, Biggin, great questions. The Mr. Kipling one, spectacular. Kenny Boy, the chat about the big reset. We'll definitely be talking about that next episode. And Ben, I don't even know how to say it. Surstormer. We're going to talk about that as well. But that's going to come up in the next episode. So let's wrap this one up. Get on the Patreon, man. Get on the Patreon. It's the best way to support the show, and it's the only way to access all of the extra content. Patreon.com/Big Scott Gibson. Patreon.com/Big Scott Gibson. You can sign up for as little as £4 a month. It's £1 a week. It's fucking nothing. £1 a week. What else can you get for £1 a week? Nothing. You know? But you get this podcast plus the extra episodes, and you get to support a struggling artist. You know, a poor, struggling comic rebuilding his career. So get on the Patreon, patreon.com/Big Scott Gibson. Go to the website, bigscottgibson.com. All the links are there, the socials. And join the mailing list. I mean, I hardly ever send out a mail shot. But when I do, good God, it's going to be a belter. So get on there. If you haven't signed up to the mailing list, do that. bigscottgibson.com. Stick your email address in. And that's it. Questions or topics, drop them over. And I'll speak to you all very soon. But all of that stuff will be picked up in the next episode, as Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre once said. So until then, stay safe. Maybe start burning some wood in the back garden. Maybe build a fire in the living room. But stay safe. Stay warm. Wash your hands and your asshole. And I'll see you in a battlefield very soon. Onwards.